Fine. In this particular session, we'll see how do we work with pivot tables in Excel. Okay. So generally, when I talk about a pivot table is nothing but it's called as the data summarization table. Means a table where we have a very large amount of data, and I want to get the summary results. So we'll just select this particular. Okay, I've just taken this particular sales data, where we can see we have some information about the sales. Like we have a product that is being sold, which is being sold by the different traders. We have different executives who has executed this particular sales, and it has happened in the different regions. We have the regions, we have the state, we have the city, quantity, sales, amount. Even we have some kind of a transaction date when exactly the sales have happened. Now, what I want to do is I want to create a summarized table. Means I want to know what is the total sales amount, or I want to see that particular sales amount, so which has been divided into executive wise, like how much they have done the sales, and those executives in the different region wise. Okay, so like in the south region we have many executives. I want to see those particular info. Let us see how do we do this particular thing. If you want to create a pivot table, first we need to select the data, or I can either focus on the data, and then we'll just click on this particular insert tab. So in the insert tab, so you can see we have this particular thing called as a pivot table. Okay. See here what happens is in Excel, the latest version of Excel, we have something called as a recommended pivot table. So recommended pivot tables means it gives me a recommendation what kind of a pivot table can be used. I just hit on this particular recommended pivot table. You can see it just gives me a kind of recommendation. Okay, fine. For this particular data, you can go with the region wise what is the total sales have happened and the grand total. Or I can go with, okay, this is what the city-wise totals. Or I can go with each region, within the region, the city-wise total. So it is going to look something like this. Or I can just say, okay, we have the city-wise totals. Okay, so we can just go for the region-wise or individual, what you say, this is the product-wise total. So we have this particular different, this one. So if you want any of this, you can just select it and your pivot table will be done. This is kind of a recommendation what Excel gives you by seeing the data. When you select the data and when you get into an insert pivot table, it gives me a kind of a recommendation. You feel like I want to create something like this. So that means I say in the each region, within the region, the what you say, city-wise, I can just select this and you can see one click when the pivot table is being created. So it says that these are total sales in the east region, these are total sales in the north region, this is the total sales in the south region, west region respectively. Apart from that, in the east region, we have the different cities here. So Bhubaneswar is one city which has done a sales of this much. Kolkata has done this much of sales. Patna has done this much of sales. In the north, these are sales what has happened. Okay, and you can see this is my overall total. I just got it, everything in a single click. Now I say no, I don't want to use a recommended table. See, it is always you can go if you are getting your desired result, you can go for it, or like you want some kind of a what to say your own specific columns and things. In that case, okay, we can create a custom pivot table. Okay, let us see how do we do it from the scratch. I'll just go to the insert. So this was the recommendation. It's an easy way to create a chart. So it just gives you Excel gives you a recommendation. You can just follow that and be done. Or you want to create it where you want to select what are the fields you want. You want to select the layouts that you wanted. You wanted to select the type of calculations you want, whether you want a sum, average, count. In that case, it's better to go for pivot table. I've just gone for the insert pivot table. As soon as I click on this insert pivot table, so you can see it has invoked me this particular create pivot table wizard. And the wizard just gives me some kind of a, it takes some kind of inputs, and based on this input, it going to create this particular chart. The first thing is select a table or a range. That means when you select the table or the range of data based on which you want to create a pivot table. Now you can see since my focus was in this particular data, it has selected the contiguous range of data. Okay, so if there is an empty row or column, that will be excluded. Otherwise, complete data is being selected. Okay, and I just okay, so you can see there is running ants over there. Okay, right from. So that means the data is being selected, and you can also see here the specific range. It says from A1 to I720 rows. It has been selected. Okay. Thing. And where do you want this output to be? Okay. So as I said, a pivot table is going to have a summarized data. So where it is going to have a different layout itself, whether you want in the same table or on a different table. I say I want in the, by default is a new table. So we'll go ahead with the new table itself. I say, okay, new worksheet. So you can see automatically the Excel creates a new worksheet and a pivot table. It creates a new worksheet and just says, okay, a pivot table layout is going to be something like this, which will have a row headings, which will have a column headings, which will have the data. Apart from that, it will have the field, that is the column headings, where you can select what fields in which row you want, which columns you want, what fields you want for the calculations. Okay, field list will be there. With the help of this, we can create it. Okay, and you can see on the right hand side, we have this particular thing called as a pivot table fields, a pivot table fields. Now you can see this particular, it is showing all the headings, what we saw in our source data. So what are the headings we saw? Product, trader, sales executive, and all these things. So you can see all those headings are available. Now, the thing is, I just want to know what is the total sales amount that is there. If I want to know what is the total sales amount, I just select this particular sales amount. As soon as I select the sales amount, you can see I'm just getting a total value. So what is the total value here? 56 lakhs 36,815. This is the total sales what has been done. That means 56 lakhs it has been created. 56.3 lakhs. Fine. Now what I want to do is I want to divide this particular data based on the different region wise. So I just select the region. When I select the region, you can see the same sales data is being divided in the region. So that means when you see here, when you observe here, okay, when I selected this sales amount, see sales amount was having the data of numbers. So Excel has decided there that since it is having with the numbers, it is something to do with the calculation. So automatically it has dragged and dropped it into the summarization values. Okay, where it is. So otherwise we can manually click, drag and drop this particular things. It will work out. Fine. So I can just manually do this. The same way, so since the region was not having the numbers, so that means when it is not having a numbers, this is something to do with the grouping. This is something a discrete value. As soon as you select, you can see it is gone to the row headings. If not, you can just drag and drop. Yeah, it's fine. So here we can see that 56 lakhs is divided based on this particular 4 regions where the sales have happened. So we can see here the north has done the 17 lakh sales, where the east has done 16 lakhs of sales, south with 11 lakhs, and the west with 10 lakhs. So when you sum up all these things, it is 56 lakhs, the sales what is being done. So here we are able to see the result is the region-wise total as well as the grand total. Now I say within the region, I want to see city-wise. So what I do, or state-wise or something. Okay, it might be city. Yeah, state-wise. So that means in the east region, we have this particular 3 states. Okay, the 16 lakhs of sales has been divided into these 3 states. Bihar has done the 6.7 lakh sales. Odisha has done 8.1 lakh sales. West Bengal has done the 1.8 lakhs. So when you sum up this values, you'll be getting this 16 lakhs sales. Okay, so the same way north region, the south region, the west region, and all these things has been shown. And the overall metrics. Fine. This has been created. So this is how we create this particular pivot table. Now, once you create this pivot table, so and when you select, you can see we get this additional tab here called as a pivot table tools. Okay, tools with the pivot table. This is the additional tab which comes on the ribbon, which has again 2 sub tabs here. One is analyze and another one is a design. Analyze is something like to do the analysis on this particular data, and design is to do a cosmetic work on this particular data to enhance the look and feel of this particular pivot table. So first we'll get into this particular analyze tab. Okay, analyze tab, and we'll just see like how do we do this particular analyze on this. So now if I have to analyze it, I'll just get into analyze here. The first thing is a pivot table has a name here. It says pivot table name. You can, if you want, you can rename it. Okay, so let us go as it is. Okay, so what is that we want to do in this one? So when you select any field, it says which field it is. What is that? Okay. Now take an example here. I want to do this kind of a filters. I want to do the filters, like I want to see only, I don't want to see all the data. I want to see only some selected data. Okay. So example, I want to apply the filter on the regions. So what will I do? I'll just select the region, click on this drop down. You can see it shows me the set of regions here. So you can just uncheck which you don't need it. So that means before going to that, you can see I focused on the one of the region and I'm just going here. Let's say example, I don't want to see the west region and say east region. So only the north and south region ka set it. Fine. Now I want to see the filters based on the city wise. I can just select the city, apply the filter, select on the filter, you can see it shows. Say example, I don't want to see Bhubaneswar. Okay, let's say Kolkata, say Delhi. So it has filtered it out, even based on the city. When you click on the city and then hit on the filter, it shows the list of cities. When you click on the region and say filter, it shows the regions. You can apply the filters. You want to clear the filters, you can clear the filters region wise, fine. When you clear it, you can just do clear of this. Okay. The next thing here is, now instead of doing this particular thing, let us do one thing is we'll do some kind of okay, cosmetics, so enhancing the look and feel of this. I just get into the design tab here. So in the design tab, you can see we have some options with respect to the designing, making this particular chart more meaningful. One thing is I want to, this is my subtotal, this is my grand totals, and this is my individual sales. So now what I want is, I want to remove this particular subtotals, or I want to apply this subtotals, what is there. So I can just go to the design, so you can see subtotals is there. So I say do not show the subtotals. When I say do not show the subtotals, you can see there is no subtotals, individual city-wise sales, okay, which is grouped under the region and this one. So you want to have a subtotal, show all the subtotals. So you can see that the subtotals are shown in the bottom, top of the group. I say no, I want to show this in the bottom of the group. So when I say bottom of the group, you can see a separate, again the east region total, it says this is the total. This is the north region ka sale, this is the total sales in the north region. So you can see one more additional row is being wasted, but when I say top, it was happening on the same this one. Rows are not wasted. Okay, so you want to show, or you want to show either in the top of the group, or you want to show at the bottom of the groups. So you can apply the subtotals. The same way we can also have a grand totals. The grand total is this. So either you want to off the grand totals, you can see I don't want to see the grand totals, I want to see only the subtotals. Yeah, you have this particular option. So even you want to remove from the rows only or the columns only, or on for the rows only or columns, you can just say on for both rows and columns. If you have the row wise as well as the column wise data, so you'll have a subtotals which is having the columns as well as on the rows. So you can either remove either of it or both of it you can have it. Okay. Now the report layout. See now what happens, this is like compact view. Compact view is we have the region within the same column, the region and the city also is there. Now I want to have it as a expanded view. So in that case, what I do, I just go to the report layout. So right now is in the compact view. I can just go to the outline view, or we have the tabular view where it shows in the form of a table. Okay, repeat all the item labels. The east was shown only once. I'm telling you, okay, repeat this particular headings again. So we can specify this one. This is a compact view. This is the outline view. Okay, do not repeat. So sometimes too much of data also is like too difficult to analyze it. So we can do this. Okay, so we can change this particular. So you can see this is the outline view where we have this separately region and the city. You can see there is a separate filter on the region. There is a separate filter even based on the cities. So this gets a more compact view. And now here we have a row headers. Okay, the banded row is like, alternate row you want to show with the different colors. You can do with this. Banded columns also you can have it. Column headers, zero headers, another column headers. Yeah. So you can select the layout for this. So you can see grand totals and the grand this one are shown with the different formatting, individual headings. We have the different layouts here. You just select the layouts that you wanted. This is where the subtotals. I think this is better. The look and feel of this, how this particular chart has to be looking. We can just specify this. The banded rows, if you want, we can specify this, the banded columns if you want. So this is just to enhance the readability. Okay, so this particular design layout, no, we are just designing whether you want the subtotal, the grand total, the layouts of the reports, how you want it, whether you want to have a blank rows. So, and even the styles, colors, and all those things we are trying to specify in this particular thing. Okay, and in the case of analyze, so there, okay, now see, like I want to do apply the filters. We have this particular filters options here. I can just deselect it and select it, and then you can do it. But apart from that, in this one, so we have something called a slicer. Okay, I just select this pivot table. In the pivot table, so we have this particular slicer here. I just select the insert slicer. It says, so slicer is nothing but it shows me all the fields on which you want to apply the filters. A dynamic interactive filters can be done with the help of the slicers. Say example, I want to apply the slicer for the region and the city. I'll select it. So, and we can see it has shown those particular two slicers here. So, which is showing what regions are there. Okay, under the region, what are the cities are there? So, maybe like I can just put this into. Two columns. Now, if I select the east, you can see it has shown only. See, you can see here with the help of the slicer, what is that we are able to do with. We can have this particular what you say pivot table very interactive. Means if I select east, you can see what is happening. It is showing only the east region data. Okay, and here you can see in this particular city also, it has been binded to this. Okay, it's showing a cascading effect. Since you have selected the east, in the east we have these three regions: Bhubaneswar, Patna, and Calcutta. Fine. So within this, further you want to filter. In the east region, I want to see only Kolkata. Fine. It is showing only Kolkata. I want to select multiple, and you can see here. So all those which belongs to the selected regions, they are in the dark color. The other one is the grayed out. Okay, so I say only Bhubaneswar and Patna. I'm holding down the control key and I have selected, or I can select. So there is no point in selecting Goregaon and all these things. So you can see if you deselect also, you have only three items here. So these are three region belongs to this. So now I can select any this one. So it just shows me interactive, like when I just select south, it shows me all the cells which just happened in the south region, north regions, west region. Okay, respectively. Accordingly, this is this also is changed. Okay, that is one thing. The second thing is I want to select north and south multiple. I can hold on the control key. You can see I've selected the east and south region. So this is the different cities belongs to this particular two regions, which is automatically been shuffled to the top, and then it's showing this is the east and the south region respectively.
So I'm having a hard time. So where is the slice, the data? I'm looking on my end here. I'm not seeing.
Okay, we can select the slicer. We go to the slicer options, and then we can just say how you want a slicer to look. Okay, and another slicer, how you want this particular slicer to look. So we can discuss it. So you can have many slicers, and you can apply the filters on all those particular slices with the help of all those slices. Okay. So that means to apply the formatting for the slicer, we need to focus on the slicer. Then we get this additional tool called as slicer tool. So we have the options, and then we can select. So what kind of options you need this. Okay. Now let us get back into this one. Now other thing is, see, this pivot table is a report. I cannot edit this table. Okay. So now if I have to do any changes, what I do, I just click here. You can see it is not allowing me to do any changes. So now if any changes has to be done, it has to be applied on the source, only then it gets updated. Oh, this is 40,000 sales amount is this one. I just see now. So something, I'm just modifying this. And then what you do is just go here. So you can see that is that was actually in the south region. Okay, so I've just removed some zeros. You can see 11 lakhs 48,000. No? And if I just refresh this, I'll say analyze, say refresh. You can see 11 lakhs has become to 10 lakhs. I've just removed some zeros, but that has affected in the south region Bangalore sales. South region, which Telangana sales. Okay, so that means when you want to do any changes, okay, we'll be just doing it over here, and that will be implemented over there. Okay, so that means so this is a report. You cannot edit the content of that. You can make it as more informative by changing the layouts, by applying this particular summarizations, what kind of calculations you want, applying what you say interactive filters, design layouts, and all these things. We can do it, but you cannot touch with the data. You cannot play around with the data. So the data will be updated in the source. Okay, so things only that from there it will accept the changes. Now we will to directly edit the data also. Okay, so this is about pivot table, slicers. Now change data source. Change data source is if you are modifying the source data. So that means imagine like you're adding an additional row or the column. So in that case, okay, you want this particular new row or the column has to be inserted into this one. So in that case, so we'll be changing the data source. Like let's say example, I'm just doing a Horlicks jar or something. Maybe I'll just take this particular same row. Might be. I'll just take this. 721. I'll just take some set of rows here. Okay. I've just added some set of rows. Sure. I just have added, so that means like right now we have certain 725. But we can see the data here, which is referring only till, okay, 721 day. Okay, I want to change the data source. You can see here, so it is not going till the very end. So only that time, whatever the data is there, only that is been selected. Now I want to expand this particular thing. So in that case, we'll get into this change data source, and then we can modify the source here. So I think it should be fine. 725. Yeah. So automatically the source data is modified, and based on this, you can see this results also is been modified. Okay, so that is where we use the change data source to modify this particular new data source when any changes happens. Okay, and apart from this, once you have created this particular thing, you want to create a pivot chart based on this. You want to create a chart based on this. We can see we have this particular thing called as a pivot chart. As soon as you hit on this, you can see it gives me again a kind of a recommended what kind of chart you wanted. So you can see it has created a column chart or a line chart or a pie chart. You can just, I think column is better for this. Select it, save it. So this is going to be your pivot chart. So when you look into this one, yeah. So when I say west, it will show me only the west region cells. East, it will show me only the east region cells. East and north, fine, it just shows me only the east and the north together. So in the east region, we have this 3 cities, and the north region, we have this 3 cities. And you can see in the north region, Delhi has done the highest sales. Place 2 is very, very small sale. But in the east region, Bhubaneswar and Patna has done okay, relatively good sale. But Delhi has taken huge sales, big sales. Okay, so we can do the analysis with the help of this. I just want to exclude the leads, select the control key and remove it. Or you want to include, shift control key and select this. So you can see the individual. That means I've selected 3 regions now. This. So north, east, south. I don't want to see the west region. So instead of north region, I want to say west region. Where exactly this time? Bangalore is very, very negligible sale. Okay, so this is a pivot chart. So and you can see a pivot chart is very interactive chart. So which is being created based on the pivot table. We have seen this particular pivot table, pivot charts, formatting. So slicer, which makes your pivot table very interactive. So then apart from that, we have also seen with this particular, how do you create a pivot chart? So which is completely dependent on this. Like, you know, you do any kind of filter here, you can see the chart also is getting automatically filtered. Fine. Now we'll just see with some kind of a calculations. How do we work on this particular calculations? Now, this particular data, what has been shown, let me remove the filters here. So whatever the data has been shown, it is showing in the numbers. Okay, it's such a big number. I don't like to see these numbers. Okay, generally, like when you see these managers, no, they don't want to read these big numbers. They want to see in the form of a percentage. What is the total percentage of sales done by each region? How much has been percentage has been contributed by the North region, South region, West region, respectively. I want to see the region-wise totals. Okay, so in that case, what will I do is I'll just select the sales amount. I'll place it in the values. So you can see there are two fields now: sales amount and the sales amount too. I'll just select one of the fields there. I'll just go to the value field settings. Okay, so what is that I've done? I've just selected the sum amount. I've just dragged and dropped here. Okay, so that means once again I have dropped this particular sales amount. I just hit on this particular small arrow pointing on the right, and you can see you have this particular value field settings. In the value field settings, you can just say what is the calculation you want. Suppose you want to have an average sale. So you can see this is the total sales and this is the average sales. Okay, and you don't want to see this decimals, you can always change this value field settings, number format. I say numbers, but I don't want to see the decimals. Say okay, so you can see the average in the form of a numbers. Because you know when I have too much of decimal, it becomes unreadable, right? Okay, so you here also you want to see this. I can just select the field, value field settings, number format, and just say numbers, and I don't want the decimals. Okay, you want to have 1,000 separator, so you can just see this. So this becomes more readable, is it? Okay, 16,78,000, 8,19,000. So now what I want is, I want to see this in the form of percentage. It's not the average amount, I just say sales amount, but I want to see in the form of percentage. So what will I do here is, I'll just select this. Okay, I just go to the value field settings. In the value field settings, we have this show values as. So you can see by default is summarize values by. Okay, so we'll just deselect, I'll select this one, show values as. There, what is that? See, by default is no calculation. I say I want to get the calculations of a grand total. The percentage of grand total. You can see we have this option, percentage of grand total. So you can see everything is shown from the grand total. So that means East region has contributed 30%, North region has contributed 31%, South is 18%, West is the 19%. That means highest contribution is done by the North region, 31.99, almost 32%. So second is almost very close, that is the East region, 30.36. But when it comes to the South and West, the contribution is very less, half of. Okay, so this is how this particular data is there. So you can see how the contribution is being done. Okay, and this 14% is the contribution for this particular grand total. Now I want to see this contribution for the individual, this one. So value field settings. Okay, percentage of contribution for the row totals, or it's a column totals. Okay, percentage of parent column total. Okay, this is fine. So this is how they have contributed to the grand totals in the form of percentages here. Okay, now we'll just create a pivot table. So with we'll see, like, you know, how do we use the date fields? Okay, so I'll just select this and I'll just go to the insert a pivot table. Okay, So you can even go with, say, executive wise, what is the sales? So I can just say, this shows me the overall totals. I want to divide this based on the, might be like sales executive wise. So you can see this is a different executive and what is the sales they have done. Region wise, I want to put in the columns. You can see each region wise they have been divided. So here I can come to know the region wise what is the totals, as well as the individual, or to say executive wise what is the totals we have. Fine. So we can just apply this. Apart from this, we do also have a report filters. Report filters is what I just want to apply, like say traders are there. I just select the traders, I put in the filters. So you can see this is right now showing for all the traders. This is like, you want to filter the whole report. I want to see only a particular traders, like say examples, Alvi Enterprise. So Alvi Enterprise is done in the West region. In the West region, he has done the sales in two different cities, Mumbai and Pune. These are total sales in Mumbai and Pune. This is the overall grand total, what has been done. So that means 58% of this trader sales is done in Pune, and 41% of the sales is done in Mumbai. Okay, so here I can just do, or I want to go with multiple options, select multiple options. There you can select multiple, this one. I say Alvi Trade Enterprise. So we have Ali Agencies, Alvi Trading Corporation is there, Alvi Trading Corpo. Yeah, I want to see with all these things. So that means this particular items where how much has been sales is done. So that means this is like, the overall report filters you're trying to apply. Fine. Okay. Now let us see, like, how do we create this based on the date fields. Okay, I'll remove the executives. See. Region wise on the rows. Now I want to see this based on the transaction date. So date wise, I want to see this particular sale. So I'll select, if I remove the region also is fine. Transaction dates. As soon as I put the transaction date in the rows, you can see how it has been shown. It shows me like the 18, 19, that means the year wise sales. Now here the date is being grouped. So date is a combination of year, month, days, and all those things. Everything has combined and shows me the year wise what is the sales they have done. So we can see that in 2019 they had a really good sales compared to 20 and 18. Okay. Now I want to see within this year, if I expand, you can see when there is a plus sign, that means there is more details. When I expand, so under 2018, the quarter-wise sales, 2019, the quarter-wise sales, 2020, each quarter-wise sales, so how much sales they have been done. Now further, if I expand this, you can see under each quarter, what are the different months per sale is there, so we can expand this. This is how it happens in this case. So now that means what is happening here, by default, it is being grouped. Okay. Now I say I don't want to see the quarter wise, I want to see month wise. I can just remove the quarters here. So you can see 2018 month wise sales, 19 month wise sales, and 10. So now we have this 18, 19. So what I can do is I can just take the years and put in the columns. So you can see January, what is the total sales? Okay, 38 lakhs, 28,000. 3 lakhs 82,000. Fine. So out of the 3 lakhs 82,000, only 19 and 20 we had the sales for Jan. In 2018, I think the sales have started from the March. Okay, business has started there. So you can see in the month of March, 2018, this was the sales, 19, this was the sales, 20, this is the sales, this is a grand total. So here we can see the grand total, that means the month-wise totals, the year-wise total, this is the overall grand total. And this is the individual month for a particular month in a particular year, what is the sales. Okay, it's fine.
Yes.
Okay, this is what is the details are there. Now you want to apply the filters on this one, so I can just go to the insert timeline, and you can see transaction dates. So you'll get a timeline, so which shows something in this particular way, in this particular fashion. Okay. Now you can see here, it is showing all the years, every month wise sales has been shown. Now I want to see only the year wise. You can just expand this. I say I want to see year wise 18, 19, 20. I want to see only 19. Only 19 and 20, we can just expand like this. Or I want to see this classification in the quarter wise. So I can see Q1 19, say Q4 2020. Now I want to see the sales from Q3 of 2018 and to, like we can have this particular range of data here. So you can see here. So that means from Q3 2018 to Q3 2019 the sales is. Or Q4 is 1.5 years. So, and accordingly these values have been changing. You can see if I reduce this, you can see it is starting from Q3 of 2018. So if I just say this, you can see 18 is gone. Q2 of 2019. Accordingly, it is mentioned. Or month-wise. So this will operate into the month-wise. I say 2019. Okay, Jan to June. I say 18 from July. From July 18. That's how this is. So that is further divided to year-wise as well as the month-wise. So you can very easily do a selection. You can go even granular to the date-wise. So I want to see in the month of July 2018, from July 1st to 10th, what is the sales have happened. Okay, or I say from June 25th or say June 20th to this one. So June 20th to July 10th, this is the kind of sales that has been further divided into June sales and July sales respectively. So this is a slicer which works for what is it, date fields. So I can go see that is the date is grouped into year, quarters, months, and days. So either you can go apply the filters for the year wise, okay, month wise or quarter wise, okay, or the month wise or the day wise. So you are going with the only specific days of this. So you can go very granularly, and then you can look for those particular days.